What's up? What's up? What's up? Might be a little early on a Saturday night. People might be out having a good time, doing their thing. That's okay, though. That's okay. Bee Stinger. I'm doing well. How are you? Captain of my soul. Howdy. Howdy back at you. What up, Scott? Good to see you. Sunday in sunny Australia, huh, Bee Stinger? Wow. What time is it over there right now? Yeah, it's hot everywhere, Jessica. That's for sure, man. I feel like it's getting hotter and hotter every summer, but no matter where I go too, like I'm further north than I was last summer. Last summer I was in Atlanta. I spent like the last like 7 or 8 summers in Atlanta. Um, but it's yeah, man, Atlanta's it's hot. And it's hot here, man. It's hot here in Tennessee too. So um it's 12 midday. Wow. Over there, it's noon. Okay. Wow. In Australia, it's noon right now. And it's 10 o'clock Eastern time here. Well, 10 after 10. Yeah. Atlanta's humid, but it's nowhere near as humid as Miami. And I grew up in Miami, man. I spent the majority of my time on this earth in Miami. And it sucks, dude. It I can't stand living there. Mostly because of that, to be honest. And my theory on the reason why people behave the way they do in Miami is the heat. So that's my theory on it. It has been for a long time. Hey Carla, what just happened? Okay. Yeah, man. Scott, where are you from, homie? What up, mignon? Oh man, see, Bee Stinger, that's a general question. You're asking how hot is it an average summer day in the US? I mean, there's different, parts of the country, man, where the weather's a lot different. In Miami, I mean, it's near the Caribbean. It's southeast and it's real hot and real muggy. It's very tropical. And in California out west, it's more dry, but it still gets hot as hell. Um, and then you get up to Northern California, and the winters get super cold, man. Um, and it snows, and it's actually really beautiful in Northern California. I spent some time in Sacramento, and it's gorgeous. What up, Irish? My girl, Irish. Michelle. Oh, so you're in Australia too, Mignon. I forgot. That's dope, man. That's really, really cool. Okay, so Michelle, you finished watching Top Gun. Did you sit there with a notepad and a piece of paper and count all the uh all the ambiguous gay undertones in that movie? Because there's a lot, man. And I've always I've always found it funny, the same guy in me that laughs at fart jokes, and dick jokes. I mean, everybody's gonna have that little side of them that's kind of immature. I mean, that's what keeps us young, is having that type of perspective from time to time. And just, as long as you don't live your life by it, it's okay to find the humor in it, I think. So uh yeah, especially when it's something unintentional like that. And it's funny because that's what I find funny about it. That's what it's the 80s, and I find it really, really humorous that there's all this stuff in there, and I don't think it was intentional in the slightest bit, not even a little bit. So just this movie is a phenomenon to me, to be like the funniest, accidental gay love story. It's it's pretty funny to me. Now, and it's funny, and I will say this, and this is the absolute God's honest truth. My favorite love story, my favorite film, my favorite love story as far as on film goes is Brokeback Mountain. I'm not ashamed in the slightest bit to say it. In fact, I'm quite proud to say it. It is It's original, it's amazingly acted, it's incredibly shot. The cinematography in that film is amazing. Ang Lee is just a visionary. That guy is a beautiful, beautiful filmmaker. And I can watch Brokeback Mountain 100 times, man. It is a dope movie. I mean, give me that movie over the done a million times fucking guy meets girl, and then there's just some weird situation that kind of brings them together, or some unbelievable situation that brings them together. And, and then they're not sure if they're right for each other. And then they realize that they are, and then they live happily ever after. And it's the same fucking story regurgitated 100 times. So I don't really get too into that. Oh my God. Did you just say The Notebook? Man, that movie that movie angers me when I watch it. Uh and I remember watching it the first time because I was talking to a girl that I really, really liked, and she told me that her favorite movie was The Notebook. And she was like, if you care about me, you'll watch that movie. So I made it a point and I watched it, right? And I did it with an open mind. I swear to everybody listening right now, I completely and totally did it with an open mind. And I gotta say, I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. I hated it. It the acting was just bad, and Ryan Gosling's a great actor, man. I think he's great. I don't think he was bad in it, and I don't even think Rachel McAdams was bad in it. I just found, you know, I found it to be an unnecessarily long movie, and maybe it was in order to um, keep it, you know, as accurate to the novel as possible. Maybe I get it, but dude, I was fucking miserable watching that movie. I I felt forced, and not by the girl that I made me promise. I didn't feel forced by that. I felt forced because, well, maybe I did a little bit. Maybe I did a little bit, just a little bit. But but I it was just bad acting. It was like, it was weird. I don't think anybody was genuinely into making that movie when they were when they were making it. That's the vibe I got watching it. I don't think anybody really gave a shit. I don't think James Garner really gave a shit. I don't think Lauren Bacall gave a shit about what they were doing. So yeah, I'm gonna look at the chat a little bit here. Went on a little ramble there. Um, wow, I'm the only one. I'm the only one that hates the Notebook, huh? Okay. I'm about to lose a bunch of subs over that. Um, hey Rebecca, how you doing? So I am Reese's cup with peanut butter says that she needs a good movie, y'all. Um, I man, there's a lot, dude. There's a lot of great movies out there, man. I mean, there's no way for anybody to recommend something to you realistically because nobody knows what you've seen. All right. Well, Michelle doesn't like The Notebook either. Right on. I eight pearls of wisdom. Um. So yeah. Um. Let's go over those. I say. Let's go over some of those Top Gun undertones. Because I was watching it with my friends. I'd say about, I don't know, 10 years ago. No, it was longer than that. It was like close to 20, man. Yeah, like I was still a youngin, and we lived together, and we watched Top Gun, and uh, it was my first apartment on my own. I remember this, and I watched it with my roommates, and we were cracking up because I mean, from the beginning, like if you turn the if you block the TV and you don't look at it, but just listen to it, the first scene where Cougar freaks out because of the MiG, right? And so Cougar freaks out because of the MiG, and you know Maverick has to like guide him, back to the aircraft carrier, and they're low on gas, and the dude is yelling at him. The bald dude that plays that type of dude in every movie that he was in the '80s. He was Strickland in Back to the Future, and he's like, "You bring that Mick back, or you bring that plane back." Blah 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 blah. So anyway, um, the fact that when Maverick is talking to him and he's saying basically, he's like, real easy, Cougar, easy, Cougar, just just a walk in the park, buddy. Just there's and you can only catch that kind of shit after you've noticed all the other ones and you've seen it before and caught it before, and then watch it again and go, am I crazy or just like the gayest fucking movie I've ever seen? And so you catch that beginning part later on. It's like basically you catch all this other stuff and then you just find gayness like in almost every other part of the movie. Um, so it it always happens like that. I mean, and then you've got that volleyball scene. Uh, it's and that's the thing. It's like, what's gay about a bunch of dudes with their shirts off playing volleyball? But for some reason, they just really had that with all the other stuff in the movie. It had that really gay beach vibe. I mean, I grew up in Miami. I've seen the gay beaches. I know a lot of gay people, and it's just hilarious to me that that was done by accident. And I mean, straight up, when they're sitting there, you got Hollywood and Wolfman, and they're sitting in the class thing with Viper talking, and they're hearing Viper talk, and one of them leans over to the other and goes, "I'm getting a hard on," and the other one's like, "Don't tease me." And it had nothing to do with anything else that was going on in the story of that movie. There was no there was it why they stuck that and put that right in that scene like that made no sense at all. It wasn't even, yeah, it didn't enhance the scene in any way. It just made you go, what? And or just not notice it or just laugh at it because he said hard on because you're a little kid, right? Watching that shit at 12 years old, like I did the first time. And I didn't think of this shit until I got near my 20s. Um, yeah, so I just, this to me was just really really funny, and it was not a good movie. The story was really really weak, um, and this is the kind of thing that you realize later on, you know, as you get older, uh, and then they're coming out with the second one, and that's for the millions of people who didn't realize that the first Top Gun was a bad movie, and I think this one's going to be just as bad. I hope not. I hope I'm blown away by it. You know, I hope like it's got the whole. I hope Maverick turns out to be like this Mission Impossible type, Ethan Hunt dude, like a Jack Reacher, like he's a badass. Even though he's only captain, they tell you in the trailer. But I mean, they can do that now. Why not? Why not just take those characters, put them in a real fucking mission where there's hand to hand combat. We know Tom Cruise can do it. That's the kind of shit I want to see. If that movie's going to be any good, it's got to be something like that, you know? And by the preview, this first trailer, it seems like they're just rehashing a bunch of the old scenes and just, it's like getting the old band back together and then just putting them out there and there's nothing, there's no real substance to it. That's what I'm worried about. But um look at the chat here a little bit. Exactly, Michelle. Val Kilmer's chomp and bite down, that whole scene, like that whole I don't like you because you're dangerous, and he's and they get in each other's face and they're like right there in each other's face, but there's no vibe that one's going to swing on the other. Not even a little bit. It's yeah, it's something else. It's definitely something else. Oh, Megan, it wasn't like a mandatory assignment. I told you yesterday, I'm not gonna spend much time on this. It was just something to get something going in here. Um, it's just a funny aspect about a classic movie, and I did it in the just in the tradition of the fact. Well, I don't know how to put it, but I did it in lieu of the fact that the Top Gun 2 trailer had dropped, I guess is the right way to word that. Yeah, Tom Skerritt as Viper Scott, man, that he was cool. He was cool. I don't think I could ever stand Kelly McGillis much. I wasn't much of a Kelly McGillis fan. I was a Meg Ryan fan though. I liked her a lot in Joe versus the Volcano. I don't know who remembers that movie. I saw that movie in the theater a few times, man. But that's the Tom Hanks movie that everybody seems to have forgotten about. And I like the story in that, man. It's a fun little story. And the way they did that was really funny to me. Having Meg Ryan play these different roles, and they never actually kind of reveal to you, like, I guess they're supposed to be different people. And he falls in love with one, but then she plays also the coworker in the job that he leaves. So she plays like three different roles, maybe even four. I have to see the movie again, but she was fantastic in that, playing all those different characters. And I like that movie because I couldn't I, because that confused me. I didn't know if it was all the same person, if he was fantasizing about the whole thing and it was just this one girl that he liked so much and it just ended up being that way. uh, you know, they never really tell you in the film that that I recall. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't know, but I don't. Yeah, I don't recall that. Um, so yesterday, um, I had to delete it, but um, someone in the chat, I went live, but my internet kept cutting off. But it seems to be okay right now. Knock on wood. So I think hopefully we can do this for a while longer. And without the internet cutting off, man, I don't know why that kept happening. But yesterday someone mentioned that they had just seen the news, and again, I didn't have time to really look into it today. I just know little bits and pieces, so I have not been following this closely on the news at all. But I'm going to give my opinion on the little that I do know about it. And uh, one somebody in the chat had mentioned that she had just seen, the news about how these 9/11 heroes and first responders are not going to see any money. And I think that's really really sad. And I know John Stewart had a big part in that, and I talked last night a lot about how I was a John Stewart fan. Now, also I don't agree with a lot of his politics, a few of his politics. Uh, I don't agree with a few of them, but I respect him nevertheless for how he uses his power of freedom of speech. And he's just a good entertainer. So I like the guy a lot, and I love that he exercised his freedom of speech in advocacy for these heroes and these first responders, and sat in front of Congress and defended that, and their right to compensation, as much as he did, and as well as he did, and as boldly as he did. So, I want to go ahead and give John Stewart that praise for that. That's really cool. I mean, I know he'll never hear this, but um, it, that's a big deal. And you know, he mentioned that, the very person who helped put us in debt um is the person in Congress who used the excuse that we're in so much debt that they couldn't afford to give this to these heroes. So that to me is really really sad. And I feel for them, and my heart goes out to them, and and I want to express my gratitude to them nevertheless for being such heroes, and selflessly putting themselves on the line the way that they did to save lives, and not just American lives. I mean, it's New York City, it's the World Trade Center, and that's a melting pot. So people from all over the world were in that building, and they didn't care who they were, and that's the kind of mentality that we need to be at in society these days. You know, instead of bickering at each other, you know, it's sad that it takes it's real sad that it takes a catastrophe to bring people together in this country. It happens a lot. Um, so that to me is a very very sad thing. And I talked a lot about that before. I think that the best thing to do is to just start focusing on yourself as best as you can. The only chance, in my personal opinion, as far as my observations go, I mean, it's the only chance we have. If we individually just try to be better people, and hope that it catches on, hope that influences the people around me. That's the best thing that I can think to do. um and so, you know but these things are never going to happen until we start, making a conscious effort to be self-aware. uh and uh and it's not the easiest thing to do. But it is a fun journey. It is a fun thing to try to do. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I guess that's an interesting thing to do. I'll share where I was on 9/11. I was in an apartment in Hollywood, Florida. Um, and I was actually living with a friend, and and my son was a year old. Um, he had just turned a year old recently, And I uh, I would have him. I remember my ex and I, we split up very early on. Um, and we had a very toxic relationship, you know. We were very young, and we would break up, get back together, break up, get back together. It was just very, very not good. And we were broken up, I remember, when my son was born, and for a while after. And my son was a year old, and he was with me because my ex and I had an arrangement, because I was a uh, closing shift manager at a pizza joint, and I started my shift at about 6 o'clock, and uh, she was a 9 to 5. So instead of paying for daycare, I got to spend the day with my son, and save on daycare, which was cool. So I would hang out with him during the day. She'd drop him off. I'd hang out with him during the day, and then she'd pick him up after she got off work, and then I'd head out to work. Um, and my my son, he loved Elmo. Not all of Sesame Street. My son was always the superhero type kid, you know. Um, and I was too. So and I never really grew out of that. So a lot of that has to do with just the fact that I had it around him all the time. And I always, you know, he saw that I was into it, so he got into it too. And he But he loved Elmo. I don't know what it was. He loved Elmo. And Sesame Street would be on, and he would just kind of run around. You know, he's a toddler. You know, he just learned how to walk, just not too long before that, and he was just running around, and it was fun to just watch him run around. And then Elmo comes on, and as soon as Elmo comes on, he just plants himself right in front of the TV, and he's watching Elmo, and I'm just kind of watching it with him, you know, and and then uh, Elmo's over. He gets up, starts running around again, and so I changed the channels, and then as soon as I changed the channels, like when it got to the local stations, it was just all over the news. America under attack with a question mark. You know, when you see the twin towers burning, and and you see that footage of the second plane hitting, and you're just like, holy shit. And it was scary, you know. I grabbed my son, you know, and I just put him in my lap, and you know, just held him, and I was just, you know, just staring at the TV like in shock. And yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. And having my son sitting with me, and something that's serious happening, you know, a million things run through your head, you know, like uh what am I going to do to make sure that he is safe? That's all you can think about, you know. And luckily it didn't come to any of that. There was nothing near, you know, Hollywood, Florida. You know what I mean? So there was nothing near there, um, as far as that attack happened, but it was still scary because we didn't know what was going on, and I just couldn't help but just hold my son really close, you know, and and just listen for anything, because I mean that's all the information you're getting is that live news coverage, you know. So you're just glued to the TV and listening and listening. And yeah, I mean it was wild to sit there and think about, you know, like it was the best, you know, the greatest thing that ever happened to me, sitting in my arms, and I didn't know if that was going to be the last time I got to look at him. When you see America under attack, you immediately kind of jump to some conclusions. I mean, not in a panic. It's not what happened. I just didn't know what was going on, so I was staring at the TV, and I was just like, "Fuck," you know. Uh, and you just start thinking about everybody you love. Like, is this person okay? Is that person okay? Is that person okay? Uh, you know, and yeah, and I didn't have a cell phone at the time. I mean, it's 2001. Not everybody had a cell phone like today. Yeah, Michelle, I can imagine that feeling. If I was in another country while that was happening, I would have wanted to rush home, be home as fast as possible. Wow, Scott, you were working for Delta Airlines. I can, Jesus. I feel like you saying it was a very crazy day is a super duper understatement. Yeah, I mean, it was a hell of a thing, and I went to work that night, and we were all talking about it, trying to understand it, trying to figure out what the story was, and who it was, and who's responsible, and what are we going to do, and do they have more weapons, blah 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 blah. It was, yeah, it was just a really really ugly time, but it brought us all together in such a way, and it's just really really sad that things like that are what it takes, so much of the time. So yeah, man. uh, Let me see what we got here. Tristan Wright, from Walker, Texas Ranger. I'm trying. Well, okay, well, where are you, Tristan? Yeah, Nikki Lynn. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's what I was doing. I was holding my baby in my arms, man, and like you, it was scary. Oh, okay, okay. So you're in Sydney, Australia. A lot of wow, a lot of Australians. That's cool. Oh, so it's 11 p.m. there because Bee Stinger, she's saying it's 12 noon where she's at in Australia because it's almost 11 p.m. here. Oh, okay. Hey, well, welcome, Tristan, to the chat. Uh, it's Minon's husband. That's dope. That's really, really cool. What's up, Shannon? How you doing? Oh, when the towers went down, it was 11 p.m. there. Okay, because I'm like that. How is that even fucking possible? Okay, shows you how much I know about geography. So, yeah, I make no excuses about that. I am not very well educated and not in geography in the slightest. Um, oh man, my coffee's probably cold now. So anyway, um, so I do like the idea of coming up with a movie that we can all just talk about. Um, and uh, it's probably best to do it to find something on Netflix. Um, somewhere where we can all access it, even something on YouTube that's free. I mean, whatever. There's old 80s movies that like if you guys haven't seen them, I want to be able to like use this channel like because I'm like the guy that's like, dude, if you've never seen this movie, you got to see it. How the fuck have you not seen this movie? So I'm totally that guy. So I don't see why it would be any different to like have that kind of dynamic with you guys too. Okay, Bee Stinger, you're gonna have to elaborate. You're saying, "Hey, Will, I have a really important question for you. What is the whole biscuit thing in America? You've got to be more specific. Is it biscuits like actually biscuits? Are you wondering why we like biscuits so much? Uh, are you talking about the band Limp Biscuit? Yeah, Megan. 80s movies are pretty great. Um, wait, what are biscuits? Biscuits are okay. Biscuits are well, to keep it simple, there's different kinds of biscuits, but the biscuits that you're talking about are I didn't realize they were mostly just if strictly American. I didn't realize that. But they're a common breakfast food, but not necessarily. Served in big American dinners like Thanksgiving dinner and Christmas dinner and things like that. I mean, it just makes sense to make biscuits and have them there, but commonly for breakfast, people take biscuits, put jam and jelly on them, put butter on them. Um, and they're real, yeah, and gravy, man. Let me tell you, put some chunky white, pork gravy all over that shit, all over some biscuits, man. That's yeah, yo, that's that's good stuff. That's good stuff. I'm not even trying to front. I'm all about some biscuits and gravy. It's the most fattening shit you can eat, but so I haven't had any in a really long time. But it's kind of like a muffin. It serves the same purpose as a muffin. It just tastes a little different, It's a different type of bread. Wow. No, not like a cookie biscuit. Okay, like dog biscuits are like cookie biscuits. We don't call we don't call cookies biscuits here. Biscuits are specifically what they are, pretty much. Yeah, drunk food at 3 a.m., Michelle. There you go. That's real. Drunk food at 3 a.m., man. Some biscuits and some gravy, man. Soak up all that booze. It's good shit. Um, yo, y'all are killing me right now. You guys are making me hungry as hell. Yo, I'm doing terrible on my diet. Um, like it's nice, because I'm seeing results from working out and exercising as much as I do for the past like I don't know 8 months. I've been working out like crazy, and but like I'm in my early 40s, man, and I still got that little dad pouch on my belly. You know, I lost a lot of it. I lost a lot of it, but you know, I can't get that ripped six pack I had in my early 20s. And I'm trying to do it just to tell myself that I can do it. I mean, at my age, I really don't give a shit about having a six pack. I don't really care about that. But I'm trying to do it just to do it. Like I'm in this weird mindset lately where I'm trying to like set goals for myself and reach these goals. And I'm having a lot of fun doing it, like getting there. The effort and the journey towards the goal is what I'm getting the best out of, and I'm really, really enjoying that. So yeah, Yeah, I got my personal trainer certificate, and yeah, I I deleted those too because I kept getting cut off by the internet. But um, I'm training this guy, and he's losing weight. He's trying to lose weight. He's trying to like get uh he's a former athlete, but he wants to maintain his muscle tone, and he wants to, burn the fat around his muscles. And I've been getting him to do these exercises, and I talked to him about um my glare concept. I talked to him about my glare concept before we even got started, just to help him understand, and this is a guy that's hung around the gym and seen the progress I made. So there's that too. And I basically just explained to him what my attitude was, and he took to it immediately. It was fantastic that he took to it the way that he did. Um, and so um, I firmly believe that applying it will applying these principles to your everyday decision making, anything. I honestly believe it's going to improve things because it has for me. And it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Like, it's super cool. It's just a fun thing to observe and experience. Um so so yeah, if you're trying to get in shape, I can tell you, that you know applying all of those principles that are involved with the glare, um it I don't see scientifically how you could not get results psychologically, everything. um it's just a cool little thing. And it's not even you know it's not like a way of life or anything like that. It's not some weird shit. It's just like uh applying common sense, and just really focusing on applying common sense to the shit that's going on in your life, and how you deal with it. It really is. um that's for me, that's what it is anyway. So I don't know if anybody else has been trying to do it, but um that's kind of what I want this channel to do, is um or not what I want it to do. What I want it to be is simply me, you know, telling about these things that happen, that make things pretty cool. It's and I don't even know, like cool coincidences happen, and then I'm just like super happy about them because I just apply gratitude. And I had a it's funny. I went a few months ago to get some new shoes, and I went with my buddy, and he's driving me around everywhere to get these shoes, and my money's really tight. So, I wanted to get something decent so they'll last, but I didn't want to spend a crazy amount of money, right? Because I just didn't have it. And we went to this one place, and it was one of these places where, there's no back room. Like, there's, the shoes that you see are the shoes that you get, and that's it. And I saw one pair in there that I really liked, that were just me. And they were these, standard high top black Vans, right? I really liked them a lot, but they had them in every size but my size. And I couldn't dig any other shoe. And I told my buddy, I was like, let's just go one more place. Let's go one more place. And and I get to this place, and I walked out of there with no shoes, and I was like, if I don't find anything in there, then I'll figure something. I'll buy something in there. It doesn't matter what it is. I'll just buy something in there. But we're not going anywhere else after that. And he was like, cool, whatever. It's all good. And I get in there, and I'm looking around for my shoes, or I'm looking for any shoes that I like. And then on this one little tiny wall was the pair of Vans that I saw in the other store, and it was there was only one pair, and they were my size. Couldn't even believe that. Same exact shoe, the same shoe that I was like, man, I don't like anything else in the store but that shoe. And then I go to this other place, and there's that one style of shoe, and it's only one pair, and it's in my size. And then to make it even better, the guy is like, and it was on a clearance wall. And to make it even better, he was like, you buy any pair of shoes in here and you get the next one 50% off for the next hour. He makes an announcement on the thing. So I got me some workout shoes, along with it. And I spent for two pairs of shoes what I was willing to spend on one. So it was just dope to for that to happen, and not be the type of person that has this sense of entitlement, like, fucking right, that's there they are. You know what I mean? Like that didn't even cross my mind. The moment that I saw those shoes there like that, I was like, holy shit, what are the chances? That's amazing. That's so cool. And, it just doing that and naturally feeling that way made it a better experience, obviously, than if I had just been like, there they are, cool, and then wrap these up, let's go. That's so, yeah, man. I love the attitude that just kind of automatically comes with uh making a conscious effort to apply these things. um yeah, there's a positive attitude, and that positive attitude towards things that I never used to have makes every experience more pleasurable. I mean, it's just obvious. It's like, okay, what you know if you learn to enjoy something and appreciate something that you normally wouldn't appreciate, that you might even consider a bad thing, but if you can find a way to appreciate it, you know then right there, that's a win. you know right there, that's a win. Something that would normally bother you, well, if you make it to where it no longer bothers you, and uh, it's something that you turned it around on itself. um you just eliminated the shitty feeling. you know you did that. You did that. There's nobody else responsible for that. So I do believe that we are capable of being in complete control of our moods. you know we're absolutely capable of it. But it takes a lot of work. you know I mean, I'm not there yet. I just based on what I've been doing, I feel like it's possible. you know but the point is, trying to get there makes things better for me, makes me like things more. So it's just it's there's no way that's not a win. you know you're putting in work, but you're getting something fantastic out of it. you know that's the way that I see it for myself. Kind of like, you know you're watching a bad movie. You just spent a bunch of money on a bad movie. you know I mean, but what do? Heckle it, laugh at it. It is what it is. You paid the money. You might as well get your money's worth. Enjoy it. Find reasons to enjoy it. I can watch a shitty horror movie and just laugh at it. I I was mad for a second when I mean, like 5 seconds into Batman and Robin, that the George Clooney and Chris O'Donnell, the Joel Schumacher flop, Arnold Schwarzenegger and Uma Thurman, and yeah, I mean that movie was a steaming pile of shit, and a terrible Batman movie, terrible Batman movie, but it's it's so bad that it's even funny. I remember heckling the screen. The same thing with Matrix, with the third Matrix movie. Like I was when I saw the first Matrix, I had so much fun watching it, and and I saw it a few times, and then and then I go to I go to this place where I'm so excited about them making a trilogy, and then they do make a trilogy, and then the second one was like, maybe the third one will be good, but the third one was awful. I mean, Trinity took forever to die in that one scene, man. I was just like, dude, fucking die already. Shut up. Who takes that long to die? Realistically, probably a few people, but um it was, yeah. But we were laughing and heckling the screen, and everybody in the theater was doing it. Nobody thought that was a good movie. So we had a great theater experience, you know. But yeah, I mean, that's just a small little example of what I'm talking about. It's let me look at the chat here real quick. Yeah, Tristan, I was like, fucking kill her, dude. Put her out of my misery. And it's like she's one of the heroes. Like, that's how shitty I was watching that movie. I didn't give a shit about those characters anymore. I was just offended by how bad it was. Oh, Bee Stinger, your friend was in the Matrix, like figuratively. Like we're all in the Matrix, or like they were in the production of the film. Oh, okay. She's an actress. Okay. Was she anybody that we would know in the movie? Yeah, I have and I'm hoping to actually have her on here some point. I have a friend that I'm still in touch with, and she was a stunt woman back in the day, like back in the 90s. Um and I met her. It was funny. I was homeless. I was a teenager, and I was homeless, with my friend Scott and another friend of mine named Steve. And Scott, I've told you guys before in other lives, Scott was murdered years and years later, but we were really, really, really tight friends. And uh it was always an adventure. And I remember we were sitting there. I don't think Scott was there that night. I think Scott was with his girlfriend. And but I know me and Steve were sitting there. We were sitting in the spot that we always sat in, and this couple just pulls up, and they're in this like old Bronco, like one of these old badass Broncos, and it's black. And they're like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" The girl is like, "Hey, what are you guys doing?" She's beautiful, right? And we're like, "Nothing. We're just chilling." We thought there was somebody important that was trying to kick us out of where we were at. And they ended up just taking us to their house. Um, they were like, "You want to come party with us and hang out with us?" And we were like, "Yeah," which was a really dumb thing to do when you think about it now. But it turned out more than okay. It was a fun time. We just hung out with these people. They were a little bit older than us, and and they were a married couple, and they were professional stunt people, and a lot of movies were being made. Like, they did stunts in True Lies. A lot of movies were being made in South Florida at the time. And I remember um she had just filmed, because they asked us, right, they pretty much they smoked us out with some weed and got us drunk. We had a good time, and then they basically had us help them move later on, which was cool. We didn't mind doing that at all. um and But I remember she telling us that she had just filmed, and this was before it was released, well before it was released. But she was like, I just filmed the scene in this movie called Bad Boys with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. And uh, she's like, I get shot and I fall through a coffee table, right? And if anybody's really familiar with that movie, that's a really cool scene. And uh, her body type at the time was definitely, you could tell she made a good stunt double for this person, but she was black. The actress who and the character who gets shot is a black girl, but this girl is white, blonde. So whatever makeup they made to do it or whatever, but when you watch that movie, it's in slow motion. She goes through the coffee table. I mean, that's her. That's Lisa. Um, and now she's a psychotherapist. So I'm real interested in, because we actually talked about doing a podcast a while back. I wanted to do something with her, um, that explored human behavior. Um, but I don't know if she has the time or anything like that. But I would still love to do that with her. Okay, yeah, there you go. All right, I am Reese's cup with peanut butter. She's got to go do her due diligence as a member of society. So, no hard feelings for that. Good luck. I hope it works out. Um, so I don't know. Again, I didn't really prepare for this too much. I knew I was going to go on tonight, but I did not put anything together. I just did not find the time to do it. I was very busy the last couple of days. I got a lot going on, and so yeah, and another thing that's going on with me right now. So a friend of mine, really an ex-girlfriend, she, got a hold of me out of the blue and offered me a spot on a cruise. And that's going to be next week. So I think I'm going on a cruise, y'all. And I've never been on a cruise, and I'm really stoked about it. And this girl, um, I mean, realistically, I'll believe it when I'm, on the cruise. you know, but it's one of those things that, I just, eh, things like this present themselves, man, and you got to be just totally happy about it. It's super cool. I mean, who the fuck does that happen to? You know, I somebody just comes along and thinks of you to be the person, and who is an ex, by the way. You know, now me and her, we never broke up on bad terms or anything. We're different people. You know, um, we had different things going on, and different ways, of dealing with things, and we just kind of split apart, you know but but we remained friends, and now she's got an open spot on a cruise, and she offered it to me. So that's got to be, that's pretty flattering, something to be grateful for. Oh, I don't even know what cruise line it is. She gave me the itinerary though, but I don't know. Um, I don't know. I'm not really gonna look for it now, but um, oh, don't drink the cocktails. You'll never get drunk. Yeah, I mean, it's vacation, man. So like, if I'm there, I mean, I'll probably drink, but I don't really drink too much these days anymore. Like tonight, I'm just having coffee, man. Yeah. Um, it's cold because all the talking I'm doing, but it's nice. But yeah, um, I'm really excited about it. I one of the things was, she's got two kids. One of them's, well, technically, yeah, they're both teenagers now. But I really got along with them when we were together, and I still get along with them, and I stay in touch with them. So that's real nice, and they're excited about me going, and I'm excited about that too. I'm real excited about. Maybe I'll do a live broadcast from the cruise ship or from some place. Uh, but it's I'm sure it's going to be a fun time because I've always had fun with this person and her kids. Sorry, I lost the chat here. I'm just gonna. Here we go. Everyone complains about American coffee. Um, I don't. I mean, it's funny. I'm just now, probably within the last couple of weeks, becoming a big coffee drinker. And I don't mean a big coffee drinker in, like, in the sense that I'm a connoisseur and I go to Starbucks and I have some crazy order, and no, I just drink a lot of coffee, and pretty much whatever coffee's available to me, I'll take it. um there's a little gas station convenience store that's it's located right there, and they've got a Colombian and a decaf, and or and one that's intense, and I mean, nothing's ever going to beat authentic Cuban coffee from Miami. That's one great thing that comes out of Miami. Well, technically Cuba, but um it's there's an abundance of Cuban coffee, and I don't know if anybody has ever had Cuban coffee in the chat here, but um, it's normally served in really small styrofoam cups with a lid on it, and it's really frothy on the top, and it's really really strong, and it's really sweet, and they serve it to you just this it's I mean, it's got to be about a half a cup, right? And and then they serve it to you in this half a cup styrofoam cup with a lid, and so imagine your standard small coffee cup, like in an office, right? Half of that with a styrofoam or with a plastic lid, and then they give you these little tiny plastic cups to go with it, because you're supposed to pour it in these little tiny little shot. It's like a half a shot's worth, and you put it in these little cups, and you're supposed to serve it to everybody. That's how you're supposed to drink it. Me, I worked a night shift job at one point, and I drank like 3 cups, like by myself. Those things, I mean, that shit'll light you up, no joke. And I miss having that. So when you're spoiled by that and you have to go someplace else, that's not. It doesn't really cut it. um, But I mean, you'll settle. But now is when I'm starting to drink like a cup of coffee every day at least. Yeah, Dunkin' Donuts has real standard good coffee too, man. You know, like they make it a certain way. You know, you just go in there and say, "Give me a coffee," and then they just already have a certain amount of sugar and cream in it for you. You know, and yeah, it's good. Um, but that was something that I would do only once in a while. Now I drink a fucking cup of coffee, like drink at least a cup of coffee every day, and that's been for the last couple weeks. Sorry, I'm catching up on the chat here. I don't think I'm gonna get seasick. Nikki Lynn, you should get a Dramamine patch on this cruise. I don't think I'm gonna get sick, man. Um, I think I'll just be too into the fact that I'm on a cruise. you know, I've never really been the type. I don't think to get like air sick or and I've been on boats. Just I've never been on a cruise, but I don't think I'm the seasick type. Uh, I I think it's just gonna be fun. Um, and I'm just gonna really enjoy the company. I think, and and I'm getting to the point where I'm just like putting. This is off the subject. I'm just putting regular. I'm putting weird titles. Like I named this episode or this broadcast "Meth Gator." I read this. I read this article where cops in Florida are saying, don't flush your drugs because you're gonna get meth gators, and I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was fucking hilarious, man. Like, I mean, it's. I feel like they just did that to be funny. To say, I feel like they just went on. Some cop from some police department or sheriff's department went on and he was saying that just to be funny to his colleagues, to humorously make this humorous attempt to try to trick addicts not to not to flush their drugs so that they have evidence and have evidence to put them away when they catch them. Um, but I think it's really funny. Zombie meth gators, man. It's I mean, I can't imagine a gator on meth. I remember I reposted that and I I was like, that's it. I'm starting a band and I'm naming it Meth Gator. And man, I said something like I don't give a shit what it's gonna sound like either. Um with a name like that, doesn't matter what you sound like. I mean, it's gonna be a hit. It's gonna not really, but it would be fun. It would be fun to say the least to be in a band named Meth Gator. Uh, Regardless, weed cows in Texas. Yeah, Shannon, you're a clown, dude. Yeah. So I mean, you know, I'm wondering. I'm waiting for the article where somebody tests meth on a gator or catches a gator on meth and it tests tests positive for it. Uh, I look nothing like you imagined. Hey, pretty peaches. I don't know. What did you imagine I look like? Bee stinger? No. Oh, what? Yeah. Huh. Well, I mean, yeah. Okay. Bee stinger. That's. Yeah. I mean, I guess so. Yeah. I can. I don't. Sorry. I'm totally just trying to find the words here. Um. I guess DJs or whatever. Um. When I was a kid, probably had a certain look in my head, and then I see them in person, I guess. But I was that was always disappointing, you know. You picture somebody being a certain way because of their energy on the air, right? And then you go to like some thing that they're hosting, and they got that typical not 80 or 90s DJ, man, that typical look where they're wearing a fucking band t-shirt with a sports jacket over it. Sometimes the sports jacket is just plain white, like Crockett from Miami Vice, and they're bald on the top, and they just got that typical DJ look. Like, you know, I pictured them one way, then I saw that, and then I saw another and another, and I was like, why do all these guys look like this? Oh, I do have a beard. I have I it's funny, like I'll trim it real nice for a minute, and then I'll end up letting it grow. Because I'll just get lazy about shaving. And then I'll get sick of it being, it never goes to that point where a lot of guys wear their beards nowadays, where it's just all bushy, and I never let it get to that, because it for some reason it feels dirty. I mean, I could scrub it with shampoo and soap and everything, man, and when it's thick like that, I can't, you know it grosses me out. I don't like having all that hair on my face. um So a lumberjack, huh, being stinger? Yeah, no, I don't think I got that lumberjack look. I didn't think I sounded like that either. I mean, do I look like I could be a lumberjack in the Hangouts picture that I got here in the Google picture? Oh, Maria, that's a nice thing to say, man. That's super nice. So so what it's funny that you say that though. Because man, like I can't stand taking selfies and shit. I'll take them here and there, like I'll take them if I'm talking to somebody. I'll rarely take them and post them on Facebook or Instagram or social media. I'll rarely ever do that. But um, if I do take a selfie, it's like a friend who's abroad somewhere, not abroad, not out of the country, but just not close to me, and I'll send a picture just to, or something humorous, that sort of thing. But it's funny when I look at my pictures, it's not the same guy that I see in the mirror, you know. So that right there tells you, I picture myself looking a certain way, even when I look in the mirror. But when I see myself in a picture, I don't really see the same person. I think I take terrible pictures, so that's really weird. I'm the quicker picker upper. Oh, the lumberjack bounty thing. Okay. Yeah. No, no, I don't look like a lumberjack. I You look like Ron Jeremy in your head, Tristan. The hedgehog himself. No, no, I know Beast Stinger. I'm not. No, man. Um, Maria, you're saying look up the comedian Sebastian Maniscalco, I think is how you say it. Selfie culture is okay. I've never actually heard that term before, but I guess it makes sense. But yeah, there's a lot of people who take a lot of selfies. And I noticed that too. I noticed the people who take a lot of selfies, it's always the same angle and it's always the same, Um, it's a weird thing I notice. And it's and people who will post the same picture, you know it, they might have a different hair color, or they might have done something with their makeup, or just something with their hair, just generally. um I yeah, I, I guess, I mean, I'm not gonna say I don't see the point of it, because if you got a new hairstyle and you're showing it off, and if people are interested in that, then that's cool. I I'm always like, well, I'm already used to the fact that you're changing yourself so much that it's not. It's just something I tend to scroll past now. You know. Yeah, and the filters, man. The filters, I think, are, man. That's something else, man. Because let me tell you, man. I'd say, I did online dating for a while, and uh 99% of the women that I met did not look like their profile pictures. I don't think I ever got like catfished where somebody tried to, you know, deceive me, in any way. I don't think that ever happened, but just people will take and post the most flattering pictures of themselves, and of course they're going to do it on a dating site, so that makes sense, you know what I mean? That makes sense to do that. So I never got upset about it. um and but you go into it just expecting they're probably not going to look like their pictures. There was a couple that looked better than their pictures, that was cool. Yeah, Irish, it's true, man. People with their filters, man. But I mean, I've been lucky enough to where that hasn't really happened to me, man. So, so I gotta tell you guys about what happened to me last night, right? Okay. Some of you guys logged on, but I wanted to go live last night, but my internet cut off like real fast, right? But I'm sitting here and I'm trying to figure out the internet. I reset the router and everything. And then I get a phone call from a buddy, right? And he's like, "Hey, what are you doing right now?" Now, mind you, it's like 1:30 in the morning, you know. But I mean, I work late. Like I usually during the week I get off at like midnight, get off work. So I had just gotten off work, and I went live for a minute. And I was talking about John Stewart and the heroes of 9/11 and everything. And then I get cut off from the internet and whatever, and I try to fix it. And then he calls me up and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm trying to fix my internet right now." He's like, "Oh, he's like, you feel like going out having a beer, blah blah blah." I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And I hear this girl in the background, right, going, "Please," right, and I'm like, "Okay," you know, and I'm like, "What could it hurt?" Right. So I go, and it is two two women that they're I wasn't attracted to either one of them, right? Let's just put it like that. And um we go and we go to this place, man, and I'm not going to say the name of it, but we go to this place and it's a gay bar, or it's a gay friendly bar at least. And we walk into the door, and I'm finishing my cigarette. I walk inside, and this lady's at the front door, and she's talking about, uh, you know, you're you, you're gonna put my liquor license at risk and blah blah blah. And she's just kind of bitching to herself. And then I was like, "What happened?" And she was like, she's like, she goes, "This is an 18 and over place, but to drink, obviously you have to be 21, and they weren't 21, and they got caught drinking. You're not going to put my liquor license at risk." And I said, "Yeah, okay." And then meanwhile, she gives us all wristbands, and I'm like, "What are the wristbands for?" And she's like, "Oh, so you can drink." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then it hit me that the person that was complaining about her liquor license getting taken away, or the place's liquor license, uh, she's so concerned about it, but she didn't ID any of us. And I thought that was really funny. Now, granted, we all clearly look like we're over 21. That's not the point. The point is the law dictates that you have to ID every single person that comes into a place that serves alcohol. That's just the law. You have to do it. So, so I'm right there. I'm laughing, and I go to my buddy and I tell him about it, and he's like, "Yeah, it's true. But it's really awkward because, and it's not because we were in a gay bar, because I don't have a problem with that. I've been to Miami. I've been to many gay bars, had many gay friends. And you know, this was, and it was cool in the sense because there was like a drag show going on, like dudes in drag that were like lip syncing songs, but they were lip syncing like Mariah Carey, and they weren't real artistic about it, and they weren't good at lip syncing either. So it wasn't like these were professionals that were doing it. It was just like kind of a karaoke type thing, more or less, but with lip syncing. Um, so it was kind of cool, but at the same time, I mean, it was really weird because it was 18 and over. So he's got these two girls, and apparently these two women that are with him, what happened was, uh he he apparently went to go buy weed from one of them because one of his friends told her that she sold weed. Whatever. Okay. So he goes to do that, and she you know she says, you know let's go out, one of these nights, right? And so apparently he texted her, but he wasn't interested in her in that way. But apparently she started like getting like all over him. And then he like wanted me to go with him because he didn't want to be stuck alone with her and wanted an excuse to get out of it. And to me, I thought that was kind of weird, kind of shitty, but at the same time, I understood it, because he's the kind of guy that he just didn't know how to say no when it happened, you know. And if you knew him, you'd understand that he wasn't, he wasn't trying to be a dick, and he wasn't trying to hurt anybody, and he wasn't, he just. And then he just found the position that he was in because this girl was just totally adamant. And man, let me tell you, man, this was these women, bless their hearts. I'm not saying they were probably really nice people, but I mean, you have to be physically attracted to somebody to be interested in them. And let me put it like this: physically speaking, if that's the kind of woman that I fantasize about being in a situation where I meet her and we hit it off and talk and everything's going great, and then one thing leads to another, that kind of interaction, that kind of dynamic that one would fantasize about. As far as appearance, this girl was the opposite of that fantasy. And uh and i i, I just couldn't. Yeah, and so it was kind of awkward to even it was it was awkward to be in that situation and just like, okay, drink a beer. I had 2 beers, and I was like, man, I was just kind of there just to be there. And it was real awkward, and I just sat there. Nobody tried to really make any conversation with me, but it was really weird because all the attractive women in this place too, I couldn't appreciate because it was an 18 and over bar. And I know that the first question I would have asked any one of them that would have approached me, I would have been like, how old are you? And it's just not, it's not my kind of place, man, in that sense. I mean, it wasn't necessarily a gay bar, but it was very gay friendly. So there was straight people, gay people, and there was, but a lot of young people that, too young to be thinking on that level, you know, and I wasn't ready for that shit. I wasn't ready for that shit at all. Um, so he ended up just taking me home, which was great, and then I just went home and crashed. And he ended up taking her home, and apparently uh he said uh uh he said that he parted ways with her, and that was it. Um but I yeah, it was a really awkward experience that I hadn't experienced since my 20s maybe. Like, I never go out anymore either. So that was just on a whim. So that's probably what made me just be like, yeah, sure, I'll go. Um, but it was, yeah. I mean, I realized something about myself at that moment too, that like I am just, I already was not, I was never that guy, but I already am this guy that's like, I don't give a shit about meeting somebody and sleeping with them. Like, I'm past that. I am. I'm that guy, man, that just doesn't care about that. And I'm one of the most sexual people that I know. I'm super sexually open minded. I'm real comfortable with it. I don't. I make no bones about it. I love porn. I'm just that kind of guy. But you know, um, I don't I don't have that burning desire right now to meet a woman and, you know, do the things that come with meeting a woman. I don't. I'm just not into it. I mean, it's not that I have a problem with it if it naturally happens, but I don't ever think about it, and I don't ever, hope for it. I just, you know. It's really weird. It's really weird to be in that kind of place right now. Yeah, this is actually, hey Scott, this is actually a big university town too. So that's the case. I mean, yeah, I felt like a super old, out of place dude last night. And the women that were with us, you know, and I guess the one that I guess expected me to have something with me was probably close to my age, but I just, man, I can't remember the last time I was less interested in someone. Uh, and it's nothing against her. She's probably a really nice person, but there was just nothing that I that made me interested at all. Um, and it's crazy because when you're in your 20s and even early 30s and you're drinking, you know, sometimes you make that bad decision and just do something like that anyway, and then you feel like an asshole for it later because you really took that person for granted and you treated them really carelessly, you know, and I don't want to be that person anymore. I just don't. It's uh it's really, it's crazy. um so I don't want to be that guy. So I just don't really have any interest right now in dating, and you know I really just want to just focus on the self-improvement, you know. See, I've never been to Europe, man. I would love to go to Europe. I would love to go to Europe just to see it. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on the chat here. Yeah, what's your favorite country in Europe? Oh, hey, what's up, Amy Source Rex? I didn't even see you in here. What is shaking, girl? Holland, Belgium, and Russia. Okay. Interesting. I've heard people say Holland, and I've even heard people say Belgium. Um, I'm Austrian by my father's side. So yeah, that's a weird mix, right? Dominican and Austrian. My father, his parents were Austrian, and then they migrated here, and and they moved to Jersey, and my dad grew up in Jersey. He was born in Jersey, I think, and grew up in Jersey, and then ended up in St. Louis. Um, but yeah, I don't speak Austrian because I've never had Austrian actually like around me, but it's in my blood, which is kind of cool. Um, so I think what I'm gonna do, um, yeah, I'm gonna put something together, and I'll go live again this week. Um, and guys, go ahead and you can use that email too, because I could really use some help, man. I want to talk about topics um, that that maybe lay heavy with some of you guys, and you want to talk about it. I totally want to just explore different things. So I yeah, I want you to use that email. It's the Glarer 360 at gmail.com. And honestly, yeah, man, if you if you guys are into Facebook groups or anything like that, we have a Facebook group, and it's of the same name. And you're welcome to join the group. Um, and we, uh, me and right now it's me and Shannon that are the admins, and she's the wrench along with Irish in here. And we just drop a lot of like funny shit that goes on in the world. Shannon dropped that Meth Gator thing. I think that was her. And yeah. Um so I'm probably going to do another one of those where people drop these stories in the group, and then I'm going to go over that. I did one of those on another broadcast once, and that was fun. Um I still laugh about that Casey Anthony thing. Uh, I mean, I can just only imagine like running into Casey Anthony in a bar and just listen to her just spill all kinds of beans all drunk. I mean, I can't think of a more rewarding experience uh, at the bar anyway. But yeah. Meth Gator. Right. No, that was funny. Like when I posted that on my Facebook about Meth Gator and starting a band with that name with the article. Um, um, somebody made like a little play on words with meth being in there with a lisp. It was pretty funny. I can't remember what it was, but then I remember thinking it would have been hilarious if they would have done that with a Mike Tyson meme, and then people just started dropping Mike Tyson gifs and shit like that. It was funny. Um, Megan O'Connor. Okay, so you're saying Nicole Kessinger in a bar. Uh, Meeting Nicole Kessinger in a bar. Yeah, but you know what's funny is I would probably hit on Nicole Kessinger. I think she's hot. I don't care what anybody says. I think she's hot, and I know she didn't have anything to do with any of that. I could tell. It's pretty obvious. Um, but I I I would probably, yeah. I mean, I feel like I get her. I feel like I get her. I don't think that I don't think that she's this mastermind. I know she's not this mastermind behind anything that happened, but I know that I truly, truly believe in my heart that she knew exactly what she was doing as far as getting involved with a married man and why she was getting involved with a married man. You know, this is a girl that did not want, she didn't think that this guy was going to fall for her because he was married. She figured it was a perfect way to just not attach herself to someone. I don't think she had any intention of a long-term relationship with him. I think she might have thought about it, but I don't think that she ever had any intention of that. The baby voice or the giggles? No, actually, I like how smart she is. Um, I liked that she said what she had to do to protect herself, but she was still very fully cooperative. And I like that she, you know, and I feel bad for her too. I'm not gonna lie. I feel bad for the fact that the cops, um, they promised her. You hear her on this tape, and they promised her that these things weren't going to be made public. She said it straight up. Like, I am willing to cooperate fully with your investigation. You can get all the shit out of my phone and whatever that you want. I just want to make sure that it doesn't become public. That a lot of that stuff would be mortifying to me. So she wasn't trying to hide anything from the cops. She was trying to avoid happening what happened. And she got totally fucked, man. Those cops really fucked her over because they released that discovery. And now, every text message is out there, and every web search. That's not right to have her web searches put out there, man. You know, especially if she wasn't convicted of anything or charged with anything, even. That's at the end of the day, that's just embarrassing shit. I don't think I don't need to know when an innocent person web searched anal sex. I don't need to know that, you know? Yes, her privacy was absolutely violated. It wasn't in the sense that I mean, it's valid. She's a mistress. You have to investigate the mistress in a case like that. Of course, you have to do that. That's just sloppy police work if you don't. But when you realize that you can't charge her with anything, you have to respect the fact that you have to respect her privacy. At the end of the day, she is an innocent civilian. She deserves to be treated as such. And I think that that was really shitty on the cops' part. I think they did a great job with their investigation. Aside from that, you know, and but yeah, I think it was horrible that her privacy was violated in that sense. Um, so yeah, maybe it's Florence Nightingale syndrome, that I just feel bad for the girl for making a poor decision, and then it turning into this where she's one of the most hated women in America for no reason, you know. And the justification is, oh well, she slept with a married man, she's a home wrecker. Man, let me tell you something, dude. That shit fucking happens every day, dude. That happens all around us. It's happening where you work right now on multiple levels. A bunch of people are fucking doing that. People that right now are fucking doing that. So I don't want to hear it. She doesn't deserve to be judged over that and hated, become the most ostracized woman in America. That's fucking crazy for doing something that everybody fucking does. You know, it happens all the time. Two people, no matter what the situation is, they're so attracted to each other and then they act on it. It just fucking happens. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying it fucking happens. But it happens so often and so many of us do it that you don't deserve to become the most hated person in the country and parts of the world for it. That's insane. I don't know, man. Uh I don't know. I just yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, okay, there's a lot of women in this chat right now, right? And a lot of you are married, I bet. And I guarantee you that married guys what do married couples do? They hang out with a bunch of other married couples, right? If you're in middle class society, right? I guarantee you that one of your husband's friends have probably fucking hit on you at some point. I guarantee it at some point. It made at least a flirtatious gesture, where it was like, okay, wait a minute. That was a little more than just a friend to a friend comment or gesture. Yeah, uh, I mean, I guarantee it happens. Like that's just the way fucking things are, man. People become attracted to each other. They feel a vibe between each other, and then they fucking act on it. And and what's messed up is a lot of the times, because it's taboo, because it's one of those situations where you're like, oh my god, I shouldn't act on this. It makes it more tempting to act on it because of that. That is the craziest shit. Just the fact that it's forbidden fruit in a sense, you know. I mean, all right. So most of your friends are guys. Are you married, Amy Saurus Rex? Yeah, Scott, you're saying you work for airlines, and pilots are notorious for cheating. Well, that's understandable. I mean, they're never home. They're all over the place. I'm not justifying it. I'm saying I get it. I'm saying I get it. He's married. This is the fucked up age of social media. Boston hippie. See, that's the thing, man. I mean, I'm not saying that it's right. I'm saying there are reasons behind, I mean, let's be honest. Like Chris Watts, they're God, I can't believe I'm talking about this fucking case again. But Chris Watts and Shanann were not happy in their relationship. See, here's the thing, it's not even a chicken or the egg kind of situation. The bottom line is if you're in a relationship and you decide to cheat on your mate, on your partner, then you've already got something wrong with your relationship. You can't blame it on the person that's engaging in it. That's not their fault. That's just the person trying to fucking get laid. That's what we all do, and then what do? We justify it in our minds somehow. But the indisputable justification is the fact that the person that I'm engaging with, let's say, and I'm single and they're married, and that person is unhappy in their marriage, then what the fuck does that got to do with me? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's got nothing to do with me. They should have fixed that shit. They should fix that shit, you know? But I mean, it's different if it's like a friend of yours, it's somebody you know, but two fucking people that I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't understand the why a person has their reasons for cheating. Like, that's the thing is you don't know what the fuck's going on in that marriage. You don't really know. Now, I don't think I could never sleep with a friend's wife. I know that. I know I could never, ever, ever, ever do that. That is fucked up, you know, or family members or anybody's. You can't do that shit. But at the same time, still, even though you can't do that shit, you still don't know what the fuck is going on in their household behind closed doors. You have no idea of knowing that, you know? So at the same time, you can't even really judge the person for cheating. But the point is that it can't be the other person's fault. It's the person in the relationship cheating where something is wrong with their relationship. And if there wasn't, they wouldn't cheat. Period. Yeah, see, I don't even want to hear that shit. Hookup sites everywhere. I mean, you can't blame the hookup sites either. The hookup sites are merely capitalizing on the fact that people do this shit. Yeah, that's not. It's not the dating site's fault because it's available. You know, can't blame them. You have to take responsibility for the fact that you're a cheat, and that's it. Oh my God, there's all this temptation. You can't blame the temptation for something. If I'm on a diet and there's a fucking cake there, and I go and take a slice of that cake. And even though somebody shove it in my face, going, "Oh man, come on, you can cheat on your diet once. You can cheat on your diet once. Here you go. Come on, come on, come on." If I decide to pick up that piece of cake and put it in my face, then I'm accountable for that. That's me, nobody else. I'm accountable for that, right? Same thing if I'm in a relationship. If I'm in a relationship and I cheat, and somebody's coming on to me, blah blah blah, and I decide, yes, this is going to happen, I'm going to do it, then I'm accountable for that. Not the person that hit on me. The person that hit on me's just got impulses, they got desires. That's just it. That's, it is what it is. You know, like I work in a fitness club. I work in a fitness club, and once in a while, some kid shits in the pool. Right? It happened 2 days ago. Some parent comes up and says, "Hey, I don't want to be that person, but I think there's a piece of poop at the bottom of the pool over here under the slide." I'm like, "All right." I go check it out. I go check it out, and then I get the net and I fish whatever I see that's out of there, and sure enough, it's a turd, and I take it and I throw it over the fence outside. It's whatever, right? And you got to shut the whole pool down. Everybody's got to get out of the pool. I got to kick everybody out of the pool, and then I gotta like shock the pool, and then they got to treat it and do everything before it can be open again, right? And so I could have dealt with that in numerous ways, but I'm sitting there and I'm talking to one of the sales rep because he's helping me out with the situation, getting everybody out of the pool and everything. And he's just like, you know what, man? It's like, he's like, I get it, you know? And I was saying the same thing. It was funny because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, yeah, it's whatever, I mean, it's you got a pool where kids are swimming in it. There's gonna be shit in it. What are you gonna get mad at a kid for being a kid? You know, that's what happens, man. You got a pool where a bunch of kids swimming. Some kids bound to shit in it once in a while. That's life. It is what it is. What are you gonna do about it? You can't get mad at. You can't even get mad at the parents. That's a kid. Who knows? Who knows? Could be a kid. It could be a kid just slipped. And it happened. It could be that the kid was having too much fun, depending on the age of the child. This child was having too much fun with his friends and family in the pool and was like, I'm not cutting this good time out. I'm gonna leave this turd in the pool. Right. So, you know, what are you gonna do? You can't get mad at a kid for just being a kid. If a grown man did that, then you'd be like, dude, really, grown fucking man? What's wrong with that? That's the whole reason that's the whole reason you point out the fact that they're a grown ass man or a grown ass woman. Like, really, you did that? Because it's literally okay if a kid does it. It's not that big a deal. So I mean, that's the thing. We're gonna do things. We're gonna do things because we're human. They're not always the greatest fucking things, but we're not. There's no sense in getting in an uproar about it and then hating somebody and making them the most hated fucking person. On the internet. Person can't even have a life on the internet. Can't even enjoy. You can't even enjoy what life has to offer, or at least what the greatest, the most popular invention and form of technology and useful form of technology that we have. You can't even enjoy it to its fullest because so many people on it hate you because you made a poor decision. You know, hey man, I'm telling you, look, I'm happy for you, K2 Scuba, that you've never pooped in a pool, or I've never known anybody to poop in a pool either. But the reality of life is people shit in pools. It just happens. That's my point. Luckily, you've dodged that bullet and never been in a pool when somebody shit in it. But it does happen. It happens a lot more often than you would think because I work next to a pool and it happens a lot. And it's not a serial pooper, you know? It's multiple people doing it. You know what I mean? It's not this one culprit that like one day I'm gonna catch that pool pooper. That's it's not like that. It's a very general thing that kids do. Yeah, public pools especially, man. I mean, sure. Right. I mean, Amy Source right there. Public pools. Gross. I mean, that was the thing. I never had a problem with public pools until I worked near one. Now I'm like, I'm never getting in that shit. God knows. God knows what's in there. I'm not getting in that. It is not going to happen. Not going to happen. Yes, man. Multiple poopers, Tristan. It is not a. It is not a. It's not a single culprit, and it's and multiple poopers does not mean that there is a conspiracy of a pooper cult that is trying to spread their message. It just means that fucking kids are gross motherfuckers, dude, and we just have to accept the fact that kids are gross motherfuckers, and that's it. It's what they do. Oh no, I'm above public pools now. Amy Source Rex. I'm definitely above public pools now. Yeah, K2 Scuba. We're definitely the only ones on YouTube talking about serial poopers. You gotta hand it to us for being a group of original fuckers. Yes, we are. I don't know if I'm getting in that pool on the cruise either, man. I might not. I might just hang out by whatever, you know. Well, Shannon, man, the word is out. The word is out. Kids are gross motherfuckers and they do gross shit like shitting in pools. That's my whole point is that it's common knowledge, you know? It shouldn't shock anybody that this happens, you know? So it shouldn't shock anybody that, you know, people cheat on each other. It's just something people fucking do. People who say they would never ever do it end up doing it. It happens all the time. People who are like, no fucking way would I ever cheat, you know, they end up doing it. Happens all the time. Nobody gets married intending to cheat. Everybody gets married going, oh my God, this is the happiest day of my life. I'm going to be with this person forever. And then somebody fucking cheats, you know? It is what it is. You know, it's just one of those things that we're conditioned to act like we're above doing, but we're fucking guilty of fucking doing it, you know? Look, man, I don't know what Tom Cruise has to do with serial shitting, but uh I don't know. I'll get in a hot tub because I don't, people are a lot less likely to shit or piss in a hot tub as adults. Well, maybe not piss, people get drunk and shit in hot tubs and they fucking piss all the time. But, you know, I don't know. Oh, we're talking about the serial shitting conspiracy cult, Irish. They were sent by the Illuminati to subvert aquatic activities because he was inverted, dude. Yeah, Michelle, that's the problem. They won't keep them hot enough because they're afraid that the kids are going to get in it. But see, yeah, like I'm not talking about, I won't even get in the hot tub at my job now because of all the shitting that goes on in the pools. I haven't, but there's been shit fished out of the hot tub too. So I'm not getting in that motherfucker. And, but like I've gone over to people's houses who have hot tubs or jacuzzis in their backyard or whatever. I'll get in one of those. That's straight. You know, I mean, I know these people, they're clean, you know. generally clean people. I'm sure they maintain their hot tub. But anyway, so guys, this was a fun live. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and call it. So yeah, man, everybody, again, shoot me some ideas, um, that some topics that you want to talk about. Um, if you got like a personal account, like a personal experience that you want to share with me, and we can talk about it. And like I said, I'll keep you totally anonymous if that's what you want. That's what the email's for. So nobody has to know um, that who it comes from when we talk about it. So I think it'll be a fun thing to do. Um, I like the idea of putting myself in your shoes and in your situations. So I'm up here running my mouth about my experiences, and you guys like to listen, but I want to share some of your experiences too. So I'm having a good time with this, and I really appreciate everybody logging on and enjoying the chat, even though this one this one was just all over the place, man. I've been doing those a lot lately, but the thing is I'm having fun with them, man. I'm having a lot of fun with just kind of just hanging out with you guys and being myself, and everybody able to be themselves. The chat is really really chill, man. You guys are really cool. I haven't had any trouble with any trolls, um and it's dope, man. I'm having a really really great time. So thanks a lot for logging in. Remember, the Glare 360 at gmail.com. Don't forget to email and join the group, which is called the Glare as well. And yeah, man. I'm really looking forward to hearing from you guys. I'm gonna call it a night. Thanks so much, and I will uh, I will see you guys maybe tomorrow or Monday. Okay. All right. Love you guys.